Welcome back to my channel. Tonight we delve into the darkest corners of the world, places where shadows whisper and the air hangs heavy with dread. Places where the spirits of the dead linger, their tormented souls unable to find peace. Tonight we explore the haunted halls of abandoned prisons. These stone and steel cages, once home to society's most hardened criminals, now hold a different kind of prisoner. The echoes of their crimes, their pain, their rage, will be venturing deep into the heart of these forgotten places where every cell block has a story to tell, every shadow hides a secret. So turn down the lights, turn up the volume, and prepare yourself. Our journey begins in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, at the Eastern State Penitentiary. Built in 1829, Eastern State was once the most famous and expensive prison in the world, known for its revolutionary radial design and its strict system of solitary confinement. It housed some of the most notorious criminals of its time, including the infamous Al Capone. But what truly chills the blood are the stories of the prisoners who never left, even in death. One such story is that of cell block 12. It's said that if you stand in the center of the block and listen closely, you can hear the whispers of the men who were imprisoned there, driven mad by the silence and isolation. Visitors have reported feeling an overwhelming sense of dread, a feeling of being watched by unseen eyes. Some have even claimed to have seen shadowy figures moving in the darkness at the edge of their vision. One of the most well-known ghosts of Eastern State is that of a former inmate known only as Slick Willie. Willie was a small-time thief who met an untimely end within the prison walls. He's said to roam the cell blocks, his spectral form appearing as a fleeting shadow, often accompanied by the sound of rattling chains. Some say he's searching for something he lost within the prison walls, something he can never reclaim. Others believe he's trapped, doomed to wander the halls for eternity, paying for his crimes in the afterlife. But Slick Willie isn't the only restless spirit said to haunt Eastern State. There are stories of a shadowy figure known as the Quaker, seen peering from the old guard tower, his eyes burning with an eerie light. And then there's the chilling tale of the Soap Man. Legend has it that a prisoner, driven mad by the harsh conditions of solitary confinement, smeared himself with soap in a desperate attempt to escape through the bars of his cell. He died a gruesome death, his body contorting and twisting as he suffocated. Now it's said that his tormented spirit still haunts the cell, his anguished cries echoing through the empty halls. These are just a few of the chilling tales that have emerged from the depths of Eastern State Penitentiary. Whether you believe in ghosts or not, there's no denying that there's something deeply unsettling about this place. It's a place where the past refuses to die, where the echoes of suffering and despair continue to resonate long after the last prisoner has gone. And as we leave the decaying walls of Eastern State behind us, we carry with us the chilling reminder that some prisons hold their captives long after death. Our next stop takes us to a desolate island shrouded in mist and legend, Alcatraz. Rising from the frigid waters of San Francisco Bay, Alcatraz was once considered the most inescapable prison in America. Its walls held some of the most notorious criminals in history, men like Al Capone, George Machine Gun Kelly, and Robert Stroud, the Birdman of Alcatraz. But even within these walls, designed to break the spirit and crush the will, there were whispers of something more sinister at play. Something that transcended the brutality of prison life and hinted at a darkness that even the most hardened criminals couldn't comprehend. One of the most haunted places on Alcatraz is said to be cell 14D, also known as the Hole. This tiny windowless cell was reserved for the most difficult prisoners, those who dared to defy the ironclad rules of Alcatraz. Prisoners sent to the Hole were subjected to unimaginable horrors, sensory deprivation, freezing temperatures, and complete darkness for days, even weeks on end. It's said that the anguish and despair of these men still linger within those cold, damp walls. Visitors to cell 14D have reported feeling a bone-chilling coldness that seems to emanate from the very stone itself. Some have claimed to hear the muffled sobs of long-dead prisoners, while others have described seeing shadowy figures lurking in the corners of their vision. But perhaps the most terrifying presence on Alcatraz is that of a former inmate known only as the Thing. Legend has it that the Thing was a monstrous figure, a hulking brute of a man who terrorized both guards and prisoners alike. He met a gruesome end within the prison walls, but his malevolent spirit is said to linger, preying on the living. Visitors and park rangers have reported hearing heavy footsteps echoing through the empty corridors, accompanied by the gut-wrenching sound of chains dragging across the concrete floor. Some have even described encountering a thick, oppressive darkness that seems to move with a life of its own, a darkness that chills the very marrow and leaves a lingering sense of dread long after it's gone. Another chilling tale from Alcatraz revolves around the prison's hospital ward. It's said that the spirits of prisoners who died within its walls, their bodies racked with pain and disease, still roam the halls, searching for solace they can never find. Visitors have reported hearing moans and cries echoing from the empty rooms, and some have even claimed to have seen shadowy figures hovering over the old operating tables, their spectral forms illuminated by an eerie, otherworldly light. And then there's the story of the guard who was found dead in the shower room, his face contorted in a mask of sheer terror. To this day, no one knows what he saw in those final moments, but some whisper that he stumbled upon something sinister, something that drove him mad with fear. Alcatraz stands as a chilling testament to the darkness that can fester in the human heart, both in life and in death. It's a place where the veil between our world and the next seems thin, where the echoes of suffering and despair mingle with the relentless crash of the waves against the island's rocky shores. Chapter 3. Old Charleston Jail. Our final destination takes us deep into the heart of the American South, to the sweltering streets of Charleston, South Carolina. Here, nestled among the city's antebellum mansions and cobblestone streets, stands the old Charleston Jail, a crumbling monument to a dark and brutal past. Built in 1802, the old Charleston Jail housed everyone from petty thieves to hardened criminals, as well as Civil War prisoners of war. Conditions within its walls were notoriously horrific. Cramped cells, disease, and starvation were commonplace. But it's not just the suffering of the living that haunts this place. It's the restless spirits of the dead, their souls tethered to the prison walls, unable to find peace or escape the horrors they endured in life. One of the most infamous spirits said to haunt the old Charleston Jail is that of Lavinia Fisher. Lavinia and her husband John ran an inn outside of Charleston in the early 1800s. But their inn held a dark secret. Lavinia was known to lure wealthy travelers into a deadly trap. She would poison their tea, rob them blind, and then dispose of their bodies in the nearby swamps. Lavinia was eventually caught and imprisoned in the old Charleston Jail, where she became the first female serial killer to be sentenced to death in America. Legend has it that on the night of her execution, Lavinia vowed to haunt the jail, her spirit forever bound to the place of her demise. Visitors to the old Charleston Jail have reported seeing Lavinia's ghostly figure peering from the cell windows, her eyes burning with a cold, malevolent light. Some have even claimed to have felt her icy touch, a chilling reminder of her vengeful spirit. But Lavinia isn't the only restless soul trapped within the jail's decaying walls. The spirits of countless prisoners, driven mad by despair and the brutal conditions, are said to roam the halls, their anguished cries echoing through the empty cells. Visitors have reported hearing the clanging of cell doors, the dragging of chains, and the blood-curdling screams of tortured souls. Some have even claimed to have been touched, scratched, and even pushed by unseen hands, their bodies left with unexplained bruises and scratches. One particularly chilling tale revolves around the jail's dungeon, a dark and oppressive space where the most dangerous and unruly prisoners were kept. The dungeon was known for its unbearable stench, its pitch-black darkness, and the constant dripping of water that drove many men to the brink of madness. It said that the spirits of those who died in the dungeon, their bodies broken and their minds shattered, still linger in that abyss of despair. Visitors to the dungeon have reported feeling an overwhelming sense of dread, a bone-chilling coldness that seems to seep into their very bones. Some have even claimed to have seen shadowy figures emerge from the darkness, their eyes glowing with an eerie, otherworldly light, their voices whispering unintelligible words that seem to claw at the edges of sanity. The old Charleston jail stands as a stark reminder of the darkness that can fester in the human heart and the enduring power of the spirits who refuse to let go of their earthly torment. It's a place where the veil between the living and the dead seems thin, where the echoes of suffering and despair linger in the air like a suffocating fog. Thank you for joining us on this terrifying journey through the haunted prisons of America. We've explored the darkest corners of these forgotten places, where the spirits of the dead linger and the echoes of suffering still resonate. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to give it a thumbs up. Subscribe to my channel for more spine-tingling stories, and hit the bell icon so you'll be notified when I upload a new video. Until next time, sleep tight and remember, sometimes the most terrifying monsters are the ones we leave behind.